Common Council. Today is September 8th, and the meeting is now called to order. Will everyone please stand for Pledge of Allegiance and prayer? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Precious Father, we thank you for bringing us here today. I pray that you touch this meeting and you help that everything that we say and do to reflect you and your glory. Keep us safe and bless our city as we continue on moving forward. In your precious name, amen.
Amen. Okay, we have a quorum. All counselors are present and accounted for. Next, we have comments of council members and special recognitions or resolutions. Do we have any?
Madam President, perhaps under comments of the administration or whether Controller Fenwick wants to address this, but Councilor Denny sent out an email to all of us with respect to, there was an ordinance passed 5, 6, 7 years ago regarding any contracts that the city enters into of $25,000 or more. I know that we got back the two that are in place. My question would be, is there any other upcoming contracts that the city or the administration is looking at to give us a heads up ahead of time? So I'm seeing no. Okay.
I can tell you that we don't have anything planned.
Okay.
I can't guarantee you that when something comes up, you'll know about it at the same time that we can.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other counselors? Okay, seeing none. Next on the agenda, we have approval of minutes of regular meetings, August 3rd and August 19th, 2020. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Counselor Russell.
Second.
Second, Counselor Whitfield. Any discussion? All in favor by show of hands? Motion carries unanimous. Next, we have signing of vouchers, approval of claims, and authorization of payment. Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Counselor Denny. Second. Second, Counselor Freeman. Any discussion? All in favor by a show of hands? Motion carries unanimous. Next, we have reports of committees. There are none. Next, we have unfinished business. There is none. New business. Consideration of council appointment to the Utility Service Board. I'm going to open the floor for nominations, and you have a ballot in front of you for that as well. Are there any nominations?
Madam Chair, I have a nomination, please. I'd like to nominate Zach Brown.
Okay.
Should have one.
Any other nominations?
I put it there, but there's an extra.
Well, that ought to be easy then.
Okay, seeing none, nominations are closed. If everyone could please cast your vote on the ballot.
I'll bring them over to her.
Yeah, let's pass it down. Where's Chris? I'm supposed to check it.
9 votes were cast for Zach Brown. Zach Brown is the appointment to the Utility Service Board.
Congratulations, Zach Brown, to your appointment on the Utility Service Board.
And then I'll need his address and so forth to get the letter out.
Will do. Next on the agenda is Resolution Number 8, 2020.
Resolution number 8, 2020, introduced by Councilor Giles, a resolution of the Lawrence Common Council approving the sale of properties owned by the Lawrence Redevelopment Commission.
Okay, I'll be assigning that to the Finance Committee, but hold one moment. The mayor would like to make a comment on that.
Real briefly, President Chavis and kind of introduced for the first time Dan Zerner to this council on the contracts we were talking about. One of those contracts is with Dan Zerner, who's taking over economic development, and also RDC. But essentially what we're asking you to do here, and I know that at least we've talked to you about it, is that, and Dan will soon explain this, that the city owns a lot of property that we don't have any use for, quite frankly. And what we're trying to do right now is clean them up, get ready to market them to people. And you're going to hear about the 3 properties here real quickly that we're going to get ready to market right now. Okay?
Okay?
Madam President, are you making a presentation? I'm sorry. I'm going to hold.
So I'm going to defer 5 minutes to you, sir, to do your presentation.
Perfect.
Great.
Hopefully it won't take that long. It's a pleasure to be in front of the council for the first time. I'd like to first, probably be a surprise, but Kathy, I want to thank you for your communication. And,
Oh, you're welcome.
appreciate it very much. You've been great to work with. Also want to offer to the council that if at some future point you'd like me to come back when you're not so busy and fill you in on kind of the vision and the many things we have going on for economic development plan for the future, I'd be glad to do that. Specifically, the reason I'm here this evening is one of the first things I undertook on behalf of the city was I noticed there were a number of properties that the city hadn't identified or hadn't followed through for some time that were on the books that are not giving you any revenue to work with, that are costing the city money to maintain. In some cases, there's some blight associated with them that are making the city not look as desirable as we want it to look. The properties I'm bringing to you tonight are all owned by the RDC, but and they've all moved to, the RDC has voted to move these properties, but statutorily, because they were at one point belonged to the city before they belonged to the RDC, we need your approval to be able to continue to sell these properties. The first 2 properties are 2 parcels that are all in the same block. They're 8016, and they both have the address of 8016 East 46th Street, which is the parcels. They're 2 of the 3 parcels directly east of the old Gold Brick Tavern. One of them is known as 8022, and one of them is known as 8026 East 46th Street. The city has issued offered letters on those. We do have proposals submitted to purchase those properties. The third property is 9462 East 52nd Street. That's a piece of property that sits just a little bit east of the roundabout for Monarch. It's not large enough to even allow anybody to build in it because of the setbacks and the city restrictions. It's costing you money to own it. It's not being properly maintained. We do have a buyer for that property that will put that back on the books, so you'll be able to collect the revenue for it and get it off the city's maintenance rolls. And the third is the property that most of you have probably heard about several times, 4423 Shadeland Avenue. That's the old automotive dealership over on Shadeland. We actually have 3 parties vying to purchase that property now. We're ready to issue the offer letter this month. We've got the appraisals done. We're ready to move forward with the sale and disposition of that property, and there are a couple of those promise are really great things for the city of Lawrence. So I'm asking for the council's approval for the sale of those 4 properties by the RDC.
Okay?
I had questions.
Yes, go right ahead.
I went by today and took a look at some of these properties. The one next to the old bar, the gold.
Sir.
I saw the sign out front, the city sign there, but I noticed that it looks like somebody already occupies it.
So the gold brick, that's been part of our problem. We've actually got 2/3 of the junk out of there, but there's still cars and boats and things that actually belong to the owners of the gold brick. They actually had that building full of all their stuff, and over the last month, we've been forcing that to be removed. Even though that was city property, they were using it. So one of the reasons we're anxious to get this out of there is to get that all cleaned up and removed.
Okay, so that's the question I was going to have, is the person who owns the gold brick is not the person buying the
That's correct.
lot. Is the gold brick, that's owned by somebody, it's not owned by the city? That's
The gold brick itself is owned by somebody else.
it's owned by somebody. Okay, because that property seems so
The
close.
property next to it where the sign is, at one time was owned by the same family that owns the gold brick.
Yeah, it looked like the parking lot for the gold brick.
Yeah, but they lost it in a tax sale.
Okay. So then the other question I have for you is, I know that we want to encourage business, but are we going to sell these properties close to market rate?
Yes. So they've all had appraisals, and the statute requires us to get the average of 2 appraisals, which is the way the offers have been sent out. And most of the properties that you have here will be close to that. Now, if the offers don't come back to that amount, we do have the ability as an RDC to negotiate to as close to that as we can get. But we are not in a position to give these properties away free. That's not our goal.
Okay, so that's my concern. So once we give you this, if we give you this approval, we don't get to see the price. It's gone.
That is correct, but I will assure you that I'm doing everything I can to get you the max amount of dollar, not only on the dollar, but we actually have business commitments on the parcels that we're talking about on 46th Street to rebuild a new business. We have proposals of the new businesses they're going to put in there. And believe me, it'll be a huge improvement to what we have now.
Well, I'm very concerned about that because that's my district.
It's fine.
And that is the heart of my district, so I'm really, really sensitive about that. And I want to make sure that whoever buys it, I want to make sure he pays a good price for it because, in my opinion, that shows me that he has the capital to make this new business happen because I already know, and for the record, the new business is a very new business. It's not a standard business. It's a hope and a dream.
Well, we actually have his bank statements. We actually have exactly what he's going to build. We've put restrictions and a clawback in it that if he doesn't build it within a certain period of time, we get the property back at a heavy discount.
But that's what I wanted to know.
Yes, sir.
And so the next question is, and that's good because if I wouldn't have asked that question, I wouldn't have known that. That's extremely important. So with that being said, I hear your word, and I'm not saying I don't trust you, but I like to see it in writing.
I'd be glad to show you at any time what you'd like, although
Can you email it? Have them send that to me. I like to review that.
I'd rather review it with you in person to be sure you understand exactly all the
Well,
details.
that's fine too. Thank you.
Mr. Zerner,
Yes, sir.
what is the aggregate amount of these properties approximately come to?
Well, the 8022, we don't actually have an offer on yet.
What was the appraised?
I think one appraisal, if I remember right, was 40 and one was 50.
Okay.
The appraisal on 8016, I believe, averaged, or 8026, I believe that averaged 25,000, if my memory serves me correct. I'm close. 9462 East 52nd was only $2,000, but it's just a sliver, tiny sliver, piece of property is just going to extend to a guy's yard. 4423 Shadeland, we probably won't get the average of those 2 appraisals because one of them came in much higher than I thought it was. One of them was 250 and the other one was 150. I think we're going to be closer to getting 150 on average for that.
That's a big piece of property on a main street to go for 150 grand when you got little houses over there going for
But that is
150 grand.
the old building on it is a terrible blight and in terrible shape. And I will tell you that when you see the business that we think will get that building and what it will do for Lawrence for generations to come and the improvements that are going to be made,
So he's going to tear the building down, build a new business, new building off the
it'll
jump.
be all renovated and it's going to be beautiful. But it's going to be a corporate headquarters.
How many acres is that?
It's not as big as you think it is. It's a little less than 4.
But it's still 4 acres of land on Shadeland for $150,000.
But if you actually walked it and you saw it and you see the environmental issues we've been through and the comfort letter, all the things are involved, that may not sound like much money to you, but when you see the capital investment we're going to get as a result of selling that property and what it's going to do for the future of Lawrence, if it all works the way I believe it will be, and we'll know this in the next 30 to 60 days, this will be an amazing deal for Lawrence. And again, most communities would give that ground away for this business for 0. We're not doing that. We're getting a dollar value for it.
Well, I'm not as confident as you are. It's a business with with a new market, so I'm not as confident if it's the same business I was told about. It's a business, right, that they have drones that pick up internet. There's no drone that's come to my house yet. I don't know about you guys. So it's a new business. So I don't want to.
If you fully understand the marketing materials, the relationships, the number of businesses they already have secured contracts with that include UPS, FedEx, Amazon,
I understand all that.
So I'm going to defer the rest of the conversation for a meeting. This will be assigned, who am I going to assign this to? We sort of got our hands full on finance.
Well, while you're thinking, can I ask one question?
Yes, go right ahead.
All right, so you touched on it real quickly, but what's that little sliver of property? Who's buying it and what's the use there? I think you hit all the other.
Thank you. It's actually the adjacent landowner. We used a special statute. There were 3 adjacent landowners. Those 3 got the chance to buy it. The adjacent landowner, Mr. Crinklaw, I think is his name, he's the one that's actually making the purchase.
Just to add to his.
Add to his lot, and it'll help it get cleaned up and maintained, which is what we really need, and get it on the tax rolls.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, so because finance is going to be busy and the council as a whole is going to be busy on the budget, I'm going to assign that to economic development.
Madam President, if I may,
One more question, Councilor
make
Wells.
it really quick. This is just down the street from me, this one on 46th Street.
Yes, sir.
Is the business that's looking to buy, I'm assuming you're talking about the little building that used to be years ago a pool hall.
I didn't know what it was. That's interesting. Well, that business right now is not one that we're getting the offer, but it is one of the properties we're asking you for the permission to sell in the future. The 2 lots next to it, one is owned by a gentleman named Khan, and he actually splits the 3 parcels. And the parcel furthest to the west, or east, I'm sorry, is the biggest portion of the parking lot. It's the parcel we actually have in here that we have the offer on that we intend to complete the sale.
Would there be any issues of rezoning? Do you know if
It's zoned I-2 as it is, and that's the way it'll stay.
And my last question is, the process for these people that are interested in buying this, will this be a sealed bid?
It has been a sealed bid. It's already received by the RDC. We opened it at the last RDC meeting.
All right, thank you.
Got a lot more interest than I thought, so thank you so much, sir, for your information and your time. I'm sure the Economic Development Committee will be in touch with you if they need you to come and present or to provide them with any further information.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, next on the agenda is Resolution Number 9, 2020, honoring Maddie Smiles.
Read it in its entirety.
I'm going to ask anyone with Maddie Smiles to please come forward. Hi.
Hello.
And the clerk is going to read the resolution in its entirety.
Resolution number 9, 2020, introduced by Councilors Denny and Freeman, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Lawrence, Indiana, honoring Maddie Smiles. Whereas Maddie Smiles, Inc. is a 401c3 nonprofit organization in the City of Lawrence dedicated to spreading smiles by performing and encouraging random acts of kindness, and whereas Maddie Smiles was formed in honor of Maddie Ross, who was born with spinal bifida and can't pronounce that. Okay, thank you. And whereas in her short life of almost 20 years, even though she was nonverbal, Maddie changed lives just by amazing everyone around her with her smile, strength, and how she could inspire others. And whereas in honor of her memory, Maddie Smiles reminds others of the importance of kindness and the impact it can have on an individual as well as our local and global communities. And whereas Maddie Smiles' mission is to uplift, inspire, and motivate others to practice kindness and make the world a brighter place by engaging and educating our communities of the importance and effects of being kind. And whereas Maddie Smiles holds an annual toy drive for Riley Hospital for Children, honors June 29th as Maddie's anniversary by serving frozen treats to our local Lawrence Public Safety heroes, delivers food boxes to those in need during the pandemic, and provides many other acts of kindness. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Common Council of the City of Lawrence, Indiana, that the Common Council does hereby recognize and honor in memoriam the remarkable life of Maddie Ross and the service of Maddie Smiles in making a positive impact in the Lawrence community in greater Indianapolis. The council hereby authorizes the city to provide a one-time $7,500 grant to Maddie Smiles, Inc. to be paid from the City Council's capital outlay Fund 444.1010. There is no underlying contract or fee for service related to this grant funding.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for all you do for our community. We appreciate it.
Definitely spreading smiles with us.
Yeah. Looking forward to those
That's
smiles.
sweet. Give me a little goosebumps. It's always nice.
You were smiling?
Okay, so we have to actually make this official before they can make a whole bunch of people smile. Okay? So, resolution number 9, 2020. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Counselor Russell.
Second?
Second, Counselor Freeman. Any discussion? All in favor by show of hands? Motion carries unanimous. Congratulations. All right. Next on the agenda, we have proposal number 8, 2020.
Proposal number 8, 2020, introduced by Councilor Denny, a proposal for an ordinance for appropriations and tax rates for the 2021 budget year.
Okay, so I'm just gonna preface these next two proposals that are coming up with the fact that I'm gonna call these as committee as a whole. The finance chair will run those meetings. I'm gonna call the meeting, but he's gonna run the meetings. We have several new council members who have never gone through a City of Lawrence budget process. They've gone through budget processes through their own professional careers, but they haven't gone through one with the City of Lawrence. And I really want to give them the opportunity to learn in this process. I remember it being my first year or two and having a whole bunch of questions, and was actually given the opportunity to participate in the process and ask questions so that I was clear. And I think by doing this, our budget process will go really smooth, even though we have a lot of new people. So I'm going to call those meetings as a committee as a whole, and Councilor Denny he'll run those meetings. I will not run those meetings. He will run those meetings as my finance chair with the assistance of Councilor Shevlot. So that is going to be assigned to committee as a whole. Next, we have proposal number 9, 2020.
Proposal number 9, 2020, introduced by Councilor Denny, a proposal for an ordinance fixing salaries of appointed officers and employees of the City of Lawrence, Indiana for the year 2021.
Okay, that will be assigned to committee as a whole.
Proposal number 10, 2020, introduced by Councilor Denny, a proposal for an ordinance fixing salaries of appointed officers and employees of the Police Department and the Fire Department for the year 2021.
That will be assigned to committee as a whole.
Proposal number 11, 2020, introduced by Councilor Denny, a proposal for an ordinance establishing compensation for elected officials for the City of Lawrence, Indiana for the year 2021.
That will be assigned to committee as a whole. And we will meet on the 16th, so we will meet a week from tomorrow. Start time?
5:30.
Should we allow a little bit more time because we have,
5:15.
It will be 5:15 on September 16th. Thank you. Next, we have comments of the administration.
during the times that we're in, certainly in the pandemic, we've added a couple of staff members. You've already met Dan, but I wanted to take special time today to introduce Jeanette Jackson. She's here with her daughter. And if you could stand, please, and wish her. I'm very proud of Jeanette and bringing her on staff, not only because she's a Lawrence Central graduate, that's important, but Jeanette happens to hold a master's degree in human resources, and Jeanette's been, every once in a while you find, a kind of a diamond, and Janet has certainly been that diamond for us. She has been leading the city in a number of different ways, not only just in her human resources ability, but also in taking the health of the city. And she actually put on a very successful appreciation day for the city employees, which went very well. So Jeanette's made a big splash already. And her daughter, which is right beside her there, I got to know her real well during the pandemic. So she's very special too, but it's great to have them on board. The other one, Humphrey's not here today, and Jason, you can say a little bit more about him, but Humphrey Nagella has just been added as a financial analyst for the city, and you've already heard what he's going to give us for the city itself, so he'll be an incredibly important addition to the city. So I'll turn it now over to Mr. Fenwick.
Great, thank you. He's got the good stuff.
I do. So once again, we're pleased to introduce our 2021 budget proposal. Daniel's going to play a quick video. What I do want to hand out is the full budget book, and then we also have citizens guides, which are meant to be more of a high-level view of what we are proposing in the budget. There are extra copies of the citizens guide should you want any additional ones to be able to hand out for its intended purposes.
The city of Lawrence is certainly headed down a great path. The cultural campus is well underway. The purple line is about to come through. Cityscape apartments are set to be open in 2021. I'm being approached on a regular basis by people wanting to come into the city of Lawrence. Our reputation is kind of preceding us right now. There's no doubt that COVID-19 will have an impact upon the city. For the first time, we're reducing slightly the amount that we're going to be spending in 2021, but that, quite frankly, is a responsible thing to do.
The terrific work done by our street department is funded by gasoline taxes. When the pandemic began in March, the streets were pretty empty. Year to date, the street department's revenue is down $300,000, and while it's picking back up, it's not at the level it would have been a year ago. Another revenue concern is the local income tax, which is one of our largest revenue sources. It is widely expected that income tax collections for the fiscal year 2020 will be down substantially compared to the previous several years. We budget our income tax revenue down 10% in our 2021 budget proposal in order to smooth out the severe dip that will occur in 2022. Our EMS operation has also experienced revenue loss as a result of the global pandemic. Year-to-date, EMS revenue is down approximately $200,000 year over year.
The good news is that the city was well prepared for an event like this, and this is the whole reason why achieving that operating reserve of about $7.8 million was so incredibly important for the city.
If you go back to the year 2012, that reserve was as low as $60,000. With the 2021 budget proposal, I'm pleased to report this will be the third consecutive year we'll maintain our 20% operating reserve. This is our fifth consecutive balanced budget proposal and is a sound and responsible fiscal plan. Overall, our 2021 budget is down 4.6%. We chose to take a cautious approach with our budget for 2021 in order to preserve the future for the city.
2021 is going to be, it's not going to be tough on us because we got money, the administration's got us money. We just had to cut back a few things, but nothing that's going to hurt the citizens. It's not going to be hard. We're going to make it. We're doing inside patching work, strip patching. We're getting 2 new pickup trucks. We just purchased a big salt truck last year in 2020, which is nice, a big tandem, and we got 2 service trucks last year. So we're hoping to get a couple pickup trucks in 2021. Right now, our salt budget's great, so we're good on salt. Our brine budget's good. Our asphalt budget's good, so we should be good. This year, we've paved quite a few streets, Harmon Way, Harrison Park Addition, Brookhaven area. There's a lot of paving they've done there. there. We've had some storm work done at Rich Hart, 47th Street, 48th Street. So we got a lot of new pavement in the city of Lawrence this year. We have 2 street sweepers. We just had them wrapped, as you can tell. They look pretty nice. They're giving us the equipment to do our job, and we're getting it done.
With 2020 being such an unpredictable year for us, financially and otherwise, we have to be conservative in our approach for 2021. There are a few things that are really non-negotiable. Number one is the safety of our officers. If we're not safe, we can't provide safety to our community, so that's non-negotiable. Body-worn cameras, maintenance and upkeep of this building, all of our programs, operations, our investigations division, all of our equipment and training. The current mayoral administration with Collier and his team have really put us in a good position with our vehicles over the past 4 years. We could probably take a little bit of a slowdown on our purchase of vehicles for 2021, but that's only because of sound financial practices of the past 4 years.
The city has done a very good job preparing for the future. Technology has really helped. We took delivery of 3 new Lucas devices, which is basically a hands-free CPR device. We took delivery of a new ambulance this year. We're trying to replace 1 each year. We got a power cot, which will pretty much eliminate any lifting back injuries that has been notorious in the fire service and EMS sector. We also took delivery of our new air packs this year, and they are now in use. Our old air packs are about 12 years old. The things we're looking for next year, we're hoping to order another engine. Now that we've replaced our entire fleet, we also have to work on our reserve apparatus. We'll all feel much better about getting the firefighters in a more safety-featured engine when their primary one goes down. We're also opening up a new firehouse. We will be tearing down Station 38 that's located on McCoy Street.
It's our oldest fire station, and it's in the worst shape. It's also our busiest station. A new station built there is going to make a dramatic difference in our ability to respond to our firefighters.
Once the station's complete, I think it's something that our firefighters, the city of Lawrence, and our community can be proud of.
Parks Department continues to expand. I can't wait to be able to roll out fully our mobile stage. We got to see it one time last year, and we have at least 5 events planned next year, which we'll be using it ourselves.
We're looking at new playground equipment at Alexander Park, and then some upgrades in some of our facility, primarily the community center and Harrod Stair Center.
Parks themselves are expanding. We have a trail that will be opened up this fall over by Lee Road Park. It's basically a nature trail. It's bringing in our own ice rink.
We'll put it out sometime in November during the tree lighting ceremony, and then have it an open venue for probably 6 to 8 weeks, revenue stream for the Parks Department.
Once again, we won the GFOA award for the 4th year in a row. That is a huge deal, and that is a tribute to Jason and his staff in budget preparation. Having a guy like Jason with me to be able to predict and to be able to budget and yet still be able to do things for the city is incredibly important. He's a rare find, and I'm not sure anybody else has got anybody any better than Jason throughout the state of Indiana.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We appreciate it.
One more book.
Next, we have citizens' comments. Do we have any? No citizens' comments. We're adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone. Be safe.